What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling fantastic today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be fantastic, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. All right, your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. So, Cancer, the moon's going void of course today. And she's going void of course early today. She's went void of course at about 1:04 in the morning, and that's going to be Central Time. And then she'll be entering Libra later this evening at about 4:50 p.m. So we're looking at about a 15-hour and 47-minute void of course time there, Cancer. And with the void of course, this is an energy of recharging your batteries, doing some meditation, some introspective work, just really good kind of Zen time here, kind of piggybacking off of yesterday, Cancer. And also, you may notice that your plans may be subject to unexpected changes, and also that people are less likely to make decisions during this time. They possibly. So just something to be aware of when we're in this energy, Cancer. And also, with we're still going to do Moon in Virgo since we're in that majority of the day. And we'll talk about the Moon in Libra the next couple days. But with the Moon in Virgo, while we still have this energy for a little bit, if you have any kind of last minute, like things that you need to get organized, or, any kind of like detailed work, or that's requiring any kind of like analysis, or maybe if you just even want to, if you've been feeling like a need to want to maybe do some volunteer work, maybe do work at a community center, or do some like a cleanup or something along those lines. Virgo energy is very much a sign of service as well. So this is good energy to work with, Cancer. And great for routines if we want to work on our health, any kind of, all that stuff, Cancer. So definitely work with this energy while we still got that going on here. And then also, she's in a waxing gibbous phase. And with the waxing gibbous, this is clarifying our direction, Cancer, and our intentions, because things are, we're right there. The finish, like the full moon's within sight, Cancer. So this is about adjusting and refining any sort of like, any sort of areas that we want to get kind of like, to just improve on, Cancer, from whatever you set off at this initially at this lunar cycle. So just something to think about, okay? And then last couple things. These readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And these decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Cancer. But Cancer, you got the 5 of Capricorn here, which is the Dear John cards. So it looks like you might be breaking some hearts, Cancer. Hold on, let's see what's going on here. You got the card of, the Dear John is a card of rejection, cold hard truth, breaking up, set boundaries, divorce, strained situation. It's not you, it's me, the end, final word, cutting cords, and something's not right. Or something's not working, which is not right, Cancer. But with the Dear John card, maybe this is something where, I'm just thinking with the rejections, this could be, I'm just thinking with Capricorn energy, maybe some of us are in like the job hunting phase right now. And I'll tell you what, that can be brutal sometimes, Cancer. And maybe we've been in a place where it's just been back to back, just like, thank you, just however the companies might do it via email, call, and it's just been like, it's been waning on your self-esteem. Because I'll tell you what, going through that process, and when you're trying to sell your skills and you do get that that kind of like back to back to back turn downs, that can wane on our confidence, and I get that, Cancer. But I feel like, think about it like this, where sure, those people, if anything, when they do reject you, it's like, or if they do reject you, look at this as a time as a period of growth. It's just like, okay, well, thank you for that. Do you have any feedback in some areas that I could have brought it more? What is it that they liked? Something. Give me something, so that we're just not staying here in limbo. So that's something to think about, Cancer. Keep your head up. Capricorn is very much, it's the opposite sign of us, Cancer, and they're about keeping that working, keeping that perseverance, and getting to that big win. So don't you worry, Cancer. But I also feel like with this Dear John card, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This can be a card of divorce, obviously, and maybe this is something where some of us, if we're not going through maybe something as maybe as serious as like a divorce, maybe we might even just be going through a separation. But I feel like in either case, however we got to this situation, I feel like the one thing I think that we can all take from separations is the instead of like, because sometimes when we get into separations, things can get so nasty. We start, like it. We go from, this was a person that we were, could have been just in love with, and all these things, and then it's just like, one situation, or maybe it's a number of situations. Maybe this was like a whole bunch of stuff, Cancer. Take it as applied to your situation, but I feel like if it can be helped, Cancer, to try to end it on on a soft note. Let's get it to where, okay, we've gotten to this point. It may not be great, but let's just choose to feed this thing love and light, and leave on a high vibrational note. Let's reflect on this. What is it? What are some areas that I brought it? What are some areas that I didn't? And let's, we can work with this energy, Cancer. But let's get a little bit more on this stuff, because I could do the whole reading off this card. Let's get a little bit more on this, Cancer. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we got Six of Wands in reverse here. So I feel like with that kind of popping up, Cancer, maybe some of us are feeling like if this has been like or either, regardless of a relationship, or if we've been on like a job hunt or something along those lines, maybe we're getting to this place where it feels just like we haven't gotten that win. It's just been just like setback after setback, and we're starting to wonder why we're even putting our energy into this thing. What was even like, how did we get here at this point? So I feel like if we're on like that job hunting kind of end, just, I feel like it's one of those things that when you start changing up, maybe like as far as like maybe the asking for feedback, for example, I find that when we can start implementing that stuff, Cancer, and it's just like how I tell you at the beginning, you take what resonates with you and you leave the rest with them. If they don't really give you much to work with, oh, okay, whatever. It might have just not been a good fit there. But if someone gives you something of substance, they take it into consideration. But that is a win in itself, because, and even these experiences, because if we keep getting back up and keep facing the stuff, Cancer, those are wins in itself, and you are growing with that. You're becoming resilient with that. So that's it's just fantastic. But I also feel that if we're on like that separation kind of end of it, Cancer, or maybe if it's been in like a tough situation, maybe we're debating about if we get a divorce, separate, whatever this is. It's not you, it's me. I feel like this is something where we can have a conversation, just kind of sit down and first kind of remember. I feel like, remembering that initial phase of like, what got you into this contract in the first place, and let that kind of set the tone, instead of coming maybe from a place of being upset if there's something that maybe had transpired here, Cancer. Let's get a little bit more on that. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we got that Wheel of Fortune popping around here, back up Cancer in reverse here, and then we have the King of Wands in reverse. And you know, maybe this is something for some of us. Maybe with this Wheel of Fortune popping back up here, maybe this is something where I feel like we're almost we feel like we're kind of at like a tipping point here where it's like things can't quite go the way go how they're going, but maybe there's something we're feeling nervous about this game plan, you know, whatever this is, you know, maybe this is something that we're like, it's because here's what I'm picturing, Cancer. You know, before we get to having those maybe uncomfortable conversations, I feel like right before that, we can paint all of these scenarios about what can go down. You know, like, okay, if they say this, I'm going to say that, and then if, you know, okay, and then I can counter with this if they're going to say that. And, you know, we're playing all of these different versions of chess in our head of how things are going to get ready to go down. And then usually 9 times out of 10, the conversation, they may take on a flavor of one of your options here, but usually there's a curveball here because you never know where the person's at in this situation. You know, we're at different places each day. I mean, come on, Cancer. I mean, we're Cancerians. We're on nothing but just like constant cycles here. Who you're talking to 1 minute or how we're feeling 1 minute, come back 5 minutes later, who knows where we might be at or what we may be processing at that time. But I do feel like that if this is something that you feel like Cancer is keeping you from moving on, from getting to those wins, getting to those victories, feeling confident, and you know, apply it to your situation. I feel like it may be time to consider to change, start, you know, turning that wheel to start changing that cycle to where we're feeling ourselves again, feeling abundant, feeling like things are going our way here, Cancer, because this is even a dope combination here. King of Wands is one of Sagittarius's cards, and then Jupiter rules Sagittarius here. This is Jupiter and Leo, so it's just like all this heat with all this fortune. Cancer, it's really going to be up to you how this, I feel like this stuff is going down if we're in some sort of like relationship thing, I really feel like. And if we're going through, you know, a place of like rejections or something along those lines, you know, maybe this is something we're trying to start a business, for example. Maybe we can't seem to get like loans or maybe get like approvals for ideas, or, you know, however that's looking like for you, Cancer. I feel like it's keeping that one, being mindful of, you know, what narrative are we telling ourselves right now? Are we telling ourselves that we can't seem to get ahead, that are like the world is against me, or are we again appreciating the situation for what it is? Because even in the rejections and the letdowns and stuff, there are opportunities for growth in there, Cancer. It can change your whole world when we start operating from that standpoint. You start attracting abundance like you wouldn't believe. More? Okay. Let's get to some challenges, Cancer. Oh, Cancer. You got the Chariot. I was going to say you got the Chariot and Friends. And you do. You got the Chariot and you got a friend here, Cancer. We're going to work through this thing. Because with the Chariot popping up in reverse here, I get it, Cancer. If we're on either end, you know, if it's, well, let me break them down. I get where, well, both of them, honestly. With the job aspect of it, I feel that if we get this, if we feel like we've hit a wall, Cancer, I feel like that this is the time to really, because maybe it's not because sometimes I feel like if we're just thinking on the business side of it, sometimes if we keep hitting these walls, maybe we give up because we feel like that may not be our true path, and maybe we might have effed up, and then it's all kinds of, you know, it gets us in a discouraged place. But maybe before we take that route, Cancer, I feel like that maybe if it's not if you know in your heart that this is where your calling is, that this is what is trying to guide you, it could just be maybe the path that you're doing, or maybe the modality that you're doing it from. You know, one of my favorite examples that I use is like let's say you love working with cars, and you're working in like an auto body shop, and you love what you're doing, but it doesn't quite seem to, it is not quite filling up your cups or something along those lines. Then maybe try doing it from a different aspect. You know, maybe try doing like car art, maybe, or maybe like doing like maybe like the like working with the old cars and getting those tuned up and doing those, putting those on display. You know how they have those like car shows and things like that. But I know that's a weird example, Cancer, but you know, maybe, okay, let's say if we have, because I got a better one, Cancer. I know I do. Let's say if we have like a gardening business, for example, and let's say you want to help people heal plants or something along those lines, and you've been trying to sell this like this product that you have. Maybe instead of like selling a product, maybe we can like maybe like rent out a center. Maybe this is something where we can get like maybe make this a community thing. You know, you can start like crowdsourcing, research, like who knows, Cancer. But maybe it's just like if we just alter our course like a little bit, maybe, who knows, like Wheel of Fortune could open up here, Cancer. Because think too, Jupiter is exalted in our sign, you know, like so that means like the energies, Jupiter really gets along with Cancerian energy. So that, you know, abundance, you know, sometimes it's just like the little tweaks here, Cancer. But I also, so hopefully that made sense over there. On this relationship side, again, here's I feel like with this Chariot, this feels like it's like a which direction would you like to go? You know, do you want to stay with what's comfortable, or do you want to try, you know, maybe moving on to a new path here? You know, this is one of those things. The Wheel of Fortune is in your control, Cancer. We get to set the where this journey goes. But I feel like this Chariot is saying, you know, maybe if you're not sure where this is going, maybe sleep on it, give it maybe the rest of the cycle. But I feel like, you know, we're gonna have to make a decision here soon. You know, this, you know, if we've been staying in a place of like limbo, you know, that's a weird place to be, and eventually the other person's gonna pick up on that, Cancer. And that's not, and even if you know you're good at like, you know, keeping that stuff maybe bottled up or something, how healthy is that for you, one, Cancer? But two, it's just like it's too much, Cancer. So just something to be mindful of. Look at that Chariot, just profound. And that's how you are, Cancer. You're profound. You're gonna get this figured out. Okay, Cancer. So we have the Wanderer here, and then we got the Temperance. Sagittarius. Look at this, Cancer. Sagittarius and Jupiter here. But I feel like, Cancer, this is something that in order for us to, because with this energy, I feel like, you know, regardless of what's going down, you know, I feel like that we're feeling out of balance. We're not feeling our confident selves. You know, the optimism may be kind of waning for some of us, and it's, you know, maybe, you know, feelings have been kind of hot. Maybe we've been feeling kind of snappy, you know. And keep in mind too, Cancer, Mars is in our sign and will be in our sign, I want to say until about May, or not May, something along those lines, Cancer. I want to say maybe it is May, but while it's in that, during that time, you know, our feelings are going to be a little more aggressive, you know, a little more, or not a little more aggressive, but, you know, we could get kind of frustrated if things don't go our way, or, you know, if we have like tough feelings, you know, if we're at conflict with our feelings, you know, then our actions are going to feel kind of frustrated. And I just feel like, you know, the Wanderer is just like taking a moment and just kind of breathe for a second, Cancer. Find your center, because we've been getting like these little pockets of just like meditation and like keeping just kind of like keeping a cool head. So. And you know, also, Cancer, just thinking with Temperance and thinking about this being Sagittarius and just Jupiter being here. Jupiter is a planet of higher learning, and you know, that's Sagittarius, same type of energy. So again, seeing these situations, I feel like, again, as the opportunities for growth that they really are, because these situations that may happen, Cancer, they're not happening to just bring you down and just like, oh, we're trying to keep Cancer out of balance, or make them a tough situation or something along those lines. No, there's a reason for all of it. It's all meant for your growth in the end. So just remembering that, Cancer, I really feel like that this will help make whatever this situation is looking like for you just a little bit easier, and just helping you keep that drive, when you're going through this stuff here. More. If we're dealing with, if this is dealing with some kind of person here, this might be, it may be Sagittarius, kind of energy, because Sag is definitely coming through strong here, Cancer. But more, okay, let's get some advice from Mercury, which is fascinating because Mercury, I won't bore you with all that stuff, Cancer. Let's get some advice from Mercury. Okay, Cancer, let's see what we have here. Interesting. We got 3 of Swords, we got 2 of Swords. Oh man. Wisdom. More. All right, Cancer, hold on. Let's switch back over here. Because Cancer, I feel like that for some of us, we may feel like we're at this crossroads right now, we got a decision that we want to make, and, it's, maybe you kind of feel like your back's against the wall, and, we just don't want to deal with it maybe. But Cancer, trust your instincts, trust that, because maybe we're worried about, how am I going to say the right thing, however we're planning this in our head, Cancer. Know that you'll figure it out. You're going to get through this thing. And listen, however this goes down, there may be some feelings that might be hurt. There may be some things that might be said. There may be some, people may feel disappointed. Even after this stuff, just thinking with this, because this feels. Definitely apply it to your situation, but this definitely is kind of leaning towards some sort of separation. And again, or not again, now that I'm thinking about it, if this is not like a relationship, maybe this is something with like a friend or a family member, something along those lines. But I feel like that this is something where, don't hold on to this situation, Cancer. This is something that, let's address this. See where things go, and let's try to just see where we can find the nuggets of wisdom, so that we can start healing from this, so that all parties can start healing from this, because it stinks when things get to this point, Cancer, when we realize that we may have to maybe set up some boundaries, or a change, or the energy in a relationship changes, or however that's looking. But it's happening for a reason, and it'll take some time. May feel a little disappointed with the other person, maybe with ourselves, however that's looking. But it'll get better with time, Cancer. I believe that, because I believe that. So I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. Kind of a deep reading this go around here. So yeah, hopefully everyone's doing all well, and and if this resonated with you, give it a thumbs up, just so to kind of let others know. It's just like, hey, the energy's kind of weird right now. You just, with everything is, depending on when you're watching this, Mercury entered Taurus yesterday. So, our mindset is kind of shifting a little bit differently here, Cancer. The energy is going to get a little more practical, a little more kind of set in security. So, trust your intuition during this time, and, be aware of your stability. But and share this, Cancer. If we know someone who may be struggling with this, because Chariot in reverse, that's always that's a tough energy there, considering the channel. So anything to get that Chariot back moving again. Let's raise that vibration. And then we get them chariots back on their path here, Cancer. Back on their path to fortune. Let's have them subscribe on the way. Then hit that bell button when you get notified when I release videos each day. And then social media, I'm on this app Insight Timer, and I created a group on there called Zodiac's Raising the Vibration, where we're growing. We're getting there, Cancer. And it's just a little, it's just a little spot where I just, where all of us, can drop just like, little positive affirmations or encouraging messages, while you're gaining wisdom on this journey, while we're wandering, maybe, finding, doing some wandering through the soul and, finding that temperance again, drop that in the group, or if you need some little nuggets of positivity or any kind of affirmations while you're going through this, Cancer, it's a treasure trove over there. I drop them there daily. I'm on a roll, so check that out, Cancer. And again, that's on the app Insight Timer, and the group is Zodiac's Raising the Vibration. And then lastly, if you check your sun, your moon, your rising, maybe check this other person's sun, moon, rising. Maybe we can work, because Cancer, I will say this, if we're and take it as it resonates, like astrology doesn't rule our lives or anything, but it does help us work with the energies. And I'll tell you what, there are some times I could think of some relationships in the past where if I, just knowing some chart information or something like that, it really can explain, especially thinking if we're going through some kind of relationship stuff, your Venus placement, your moon placement, those are some stuff that's going to get indicators for relationship stuff. So, check that stuff out, Cancer. There's an app, I like Time Passages. That's a really good kind of balance one. I feel like if you're beginner or advanced, just a good little tool to have in your pocket. And check out my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there, occasional monthly videos every time the sun transits to a new sign. It's a good old time, Cancer. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get you a surprise card here so I can get you out of here, Cancer. Man, we got the world in reverse here, Cancer. But you know what? I like that, because I got a nice little spin on that we can do, Cancer. And then, okay, I'm with it. We got the solstice card in reverse. And so a lot of big surprise, a whole bunch of cycles here, Cancer. Story of our lives, right? But I feel that with this energy popping up, let's start with the world. Because even with the world being in reverse, maybe we're kind of feeling like, how does this next chapter look like? What are we doing? Where are we going from here? And I feel like the nice thing about the world being here, Cancer, this is Saturn's card. And Saturn sure placed restrictions on us, but he does that in order for us to rise up and grow. And when we rise up, Cancer, Saturn's pretty much just like, it's what do you want? Saturn really is Saturn can be just as generous as Jupiter as far as abundance goes. It's just that Saturn has tighter requirements. He's whereas Jupiter's just sort of just like, hey, Saturn's just like, oh yeah, you can totally have all this abundance. Here's your checklist. So just something to think about, Cancer. You can shape this next cycle however it is you want to look, and it's not going to say with this solstice card, it's not going to take to our birthday season for you to get to a good place. But this may be a good time to reflect on, with our birthday season getting ready to come up, Cancer. Within the next few months here, where do you see this next chapter being? We're going to be coming up on our, how I talk about the lunar returns, and with the moon getting ready to move into Libra. If you have your moon in Libra, happy lunar return. But with us getting ready to come up on our solar return, Cancer, think about where you want to go next, how this is looking. This is literally, we've been given all the tools here, Cancer. Jupiter's here, Saturn's here. I mean, we have fortune. It's just we got to put in a little bit of work, get that chariot back moving. So, all right, I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. So, you stay safe out there. And Cancer, I know this is a tough situation, and this is something that it may take you a second to raise that vibration, and maybe maybe while you're going through this stuff, while you're reflecting, keeping eyes on the moon. The moon's there for you. You know, a little bit that energy will help you feel good. And you know, again, moon being in Virgo, take care of your energy right now. Do some self-care. You know how I feel about self-care all day, every day. And I will catch you. Oh, where are we at? I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.